triggers. We all have those triggers in our life when someone says something or a gesture and you're just inside distorted and upset, and the tension happens and you're just furious. And sometimes you have to realize that that trigger is a good message for you to concentrate on how you're feeling, because the crazy thing is feeling good through those triggers and feeling good through those times that don't feel good. And you can get yourself to a place eventually and continue to grow, because it's always a never ending learning experience to process yourself through a trigger of someone saying the wrong thing or someone saying something all the time that you just don't associate with, and it's just not working for you, and you just don't want to be in that place. And you have to realize that it's not them, it's you in a way, but it's in a good way, because it's there to teach you to have control of your feelings and to love yourself through the trigger, through the discomfort that it brings really deep inside, especially with your heart. And sometimes it triggers other parts of your body and it gets tense, or it gets hot. And sometimes you just don't understand, why are you experiencing it again and again. And it's a lesson for you to understand that you have to realize how much growth you have. Because when you realize how much growth you have, you feel much better about yourself. And when you can get to a point where that person or that situation or that environment that doesn't relate to you, or it actually just gives you that triggering discomfort, that you can be in that environment and still be okay and feel good about yourself. And no matter how someone may look at you or respond of why aren't you reacting, you don't need to react. And you don't want to react. And you know deep inside you don't want to react, because you're becoming who you are, and you're being a better person. You're being who you are, and you're feeling good. And that's the most awesome thing to feel all the time, even through triggers. And triggers come and go out of nowhere. And sometimes people relate them to being a reflection of yourself. And sometimes it is. And sometimes it's just a reflection of that other person in a situation or in a mood that you aren't related with, and they're just bouncing it off of you or onto you, really. But you can bounce it back to them, or just bounce it off and not have to deal with it, because you're just being centered and balanced and whole and feeling good. And triggers do that to you, and they're good. And sometimes you're like, no, but triggers really help, because they're just words or phrases or expression. They're just space. They are unattached to you. They show up because they need to show up. And you will have the power, or have the power, and you will keep growing the power to just be able to let it bounce and to just see it as it is and keep going and knowing that things are better. And it's not you, because you are in a better place and position and feeling. And triggers, they really, really sometimes give you work, self-loving work. And triggers are a part of the self-love. Because if you love yourself enough, you'll know it's a trigger, and you'll know that it's temporary, and you'll know that you can get through this and not let the momentum of it last too long, and turn it around for your better good. So you're not the only one ever going through them. We all go through triggers. And when we think we're in the high place, something happens and you're like, no. But instead of just saying no, just breathe, close your eyes, smile, and just let it sink in for just a little bit. And then know that you are feeling good for you. Know that you love you. And know that this is passing really fast. And just give yourself a loving hug or loving words. I usually go through an ABC of positive words. And sometimes I just turn it around and look at it in a different way. And there's so many ways you can do it. There's breathing, there's meditating. There's a lot of ways that you can come out of a trigger. But triggers are there and triggers will happen. And they don't need to bother you. You can just smile at them as they appear and let them go away. And then just give yourself time to feel good. And over time, you will develop such a pattern and a momentum and a feeling, emotional feeling that will just work for you to just let it pass and still feel good to you and get through the process. Because sometimes it's just a test to see where you are. And sometimes it just comes out of nowhere. But triggers will always exist. And they're positive. No matter how they appear, they're positive because it gives you strength and it gives you growth. And I hope you can think into positive things about yourself because there's always something positive. 1, you're here. 2, you're vital and alive. And 3, you're doing your best. And it only gets better as you keep doing your best. It may be baby steps, it may be giant steps. But you're here. And that's the good thing. And especially when you start to realize the triggers, they won't bother you that much anymore. You kind of laugh at them. So keep going and keep pursuing the goodness of you. And I hope you all have a pleasant day and keep feeling good. Until the next time.